Hey, what's up, guys? Summer1992 here of Retribution Gaming, and joining me on the Gloom Talk podcast, I have a number of guests tonight. So, guys, intro yourselves away.
I guess I'll start. Hey, hello everyone, Bing Bong here, back at the podcast again, just total improv, and I'll be co-hosting with a couple people, as Tom said. So let's right to the next person.
I'm from Cineverse. You can call me Sin, the Cineverse on YouTube and Twitch. And I am part of Retribution Gaming Guild.
Hello there, I'm Frosty Hunt and I stream on Twitch.
Hello, I am Tutap. I'm in the BIS Guild, and I also stream on Twitch.
Nice, nice. So, big things happened in Wayfinder this week. We have the Eventide patch, very big patch, and we've got a couple of hot fixes that have come after that as well. And then we've also had a video put out by Snarf and Sneeve addressing the balance and stats and stuff and their steps forward with that. So let's start with the Eventide patch, guys. I guess that as a summary, we'll start with Bing, and we'll work through like Sin, Tutap, and Frosty. How was the patch for you? First impressions?
Well, first impression, the new stuff is really, like it's pretty much a whole new game now. A lot more bugs than I would expected. Like I expected some bugs, but we feel them a lot more than I thought. But like the new stuff overshadows the bugs pretty much. There's so much things to do now with Awakening, with the new weapons, and maps have been revamped, UI have been revamped, bunch of balance stuff. Yeah, it's just pretty much a whole new game now.
Yeah, I'm liking the new attention to detail that I'm seeing in the levels and stuff that they added. And of course the new weapons, something else to grind for. I just got the last level max. Last weapon maxed out, so now I gotta do it again. And then they did the Syndra rework, so now I can go ahead and grind for her. So something else to do.
So, yeah, I also enjoy the patch very much. I really like the new like aesthetics the mines got and the like Codex Alt and the repository got. Like it brings more like life to the dungeons, and also the whole rework of the event materials dropping. Like you won't need those anymore. So and also the gun changes. I mean, there's so much I like about this patch, but there's also the bugs that is like kind of pulling down. So we take the good with the bad.
How about you, Frosty, buddy?
I like the patch so far. I love all the UI changes and I love Baldoom. I didn't even know they changed it until today. And I walk in, I was like, whoa, it's a whole new world. It's
Yeah.
really fun.
So for me, I actually do like the new dungeon sets that they done and created a lot of variety between that. But then I also like the new weapons. Still playing around with them. The AP balance that they done. Didn't realize it was just free like Wayfinders. So expecting everyone to get a little touch up. And it wasn't. It was mainly just those three. And yeah, poor old Kyros is suffering because of that. We then had the enemy AI and defenses and that all tweaked. Day one of the patch. A lot of people complaining the game was too hard. They've now had to hotfix in a band-aid for now. That kind of feels okay though, the band-aid that they've done. I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do in January with that. And then momentum in general is bugged right now. That kind of made me really gutted. But Sword and Shield, I've been playing with that a lot. Bastion, feeling very nice. Yeah, how are the new weapons for you and the weapon changes though? Like, what are your thoughts on those going forward? Because we got a lot of weapon changes with this as well, and especially with how they scale now with AP. Like,
Yeah.
Have you are you noticing any like positive or negative things with that? Like,
Honestly, I don't even feel the new AP scaling that much. Like, I don't invest much AP in my builds anyway, so I don't really see a difference, except that most weapon abilities are less in general now because of the new scaling. That being said, the new guns I think are really great. Like I've been playing with Tempest a bit, and just being able to break everything now that shotguns are meant to be break weapons, it feels really fun to use. and the new weapons in general. I've not messed with all of them, but I find they're a bit hit or miss. Like the new two-hand sword is amazing. I love it. I'm probably be the first weapon I fully awaken, honestly. And I find the rest of them are a bit meh. Not sure if they're just not my style or something, but not fully sold on the 4 other weapons that we've got.
I feel like that scythe doesn't do enough damage. It's great at
Yeah,
healing.
I feel like the scythe is like it just lacks too much damage, and I was testing it out on Silo with 10k weapon power, and that I mean the weapon ability should scale off of weapon power, right? And I'm barely even getting healed, and each single tick does like 400 damage. And another thing with that scythe, yeah, the weapon ability doesn't stack your combo. So if you get 3 momentum stacks and you hold it for the full duration, you actually lose your combo. So that's also pretty dumb. And for I mean, I like the attack speed buff for Scythe and Sword and Shield. I can definitely feel it, but I don't think it's enough to make them compete with any like dagger or gun. I don't know how they were gonna go around that because most of the Sword and Shields are supportive-ish weapons, so they should lack in damage. I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
And for the new gun, I mean it's a burst rifle. So from my testing, it does comparable damage to the Tempest, but not not enough to make it better than Tempest. Like Tempest is still way stronger, but it is the second best gun, in my opinion.
Okay.
The new gun, you mean, is the second best gun now?
Maybe Hellswarm is better, but
Elsewhere.
then like yeah, Hellswarm is a shotgun as
I
well.
love my Hellstorm.
Man, we've gone from worst weapon in the game to third best. That's pretty good.
No. Hellswarm has always been the second best gun in the game.
Was it?
I mean, it was
Yeah.
great at taking out your allies. Okay, like let's be real. That
Okay,
was so much fun.
Hold on,
So
so you other
from
people used to die from the mortar?
yeah, it was friendly fire for like a short
That's
period of time.
hilarious.
Basically, if you
Oh.
had a run with level nines in on like the
Oh.
hollow map, you got to kill them, and it was fantastic.
That's evil.
That would have been so
Yeah,
funny. I would have had so many blooper videos.
but yeah, the shotguns just auto tagging with the shotgun does more damage than any other weapon. So it at least was like that before. I haven't tested the Hellswarm this patch, so but the new Void Binder does feel really good. Like the DPS is actually pretty bonkers.
Yeah, I think it might be bugged because I know they put out an alert that it would fix the gun, like bring it down a bit. So I'm not sure if it was doing
Yeah.
too much damage or something. But
Every single weapon ability was critting twice, so that's like it was pretty like overtuned. But I actually think it was fine for that gun specifically because it's even with that bug, it wasn't better than the Tempest. So that just shows you how OP shotguns are, even though I don't know if they tried to nerf them, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah, didn't they get
I
a
feel like
range nerf the shotguns? Right? They got their
yeah,
range
yeah.
reduced.
yeah,
You need to be closer now, but I mean you are already pretty close. But I just miss like having weapons that is actually comparable because of course I want to use the best thing in the game, and if that's Tempest, I'll use Tempest. But I would like to like just have something that's like maybe a slight less or slight better than Tempest, so I can like mix and match my builds. But yeah, it just doesn't seem worth it to run anything that isn't Tempest at the moment, for me at least.
Yeah, I can see that. How about you, Frosty? You've been very quiet there, buddy. Come on, give us some of your opinions.
I mean, I haven't really tested the new weapons that much. Tomorrow I was gonna test the Bastion to make a good build with Venomous, but yeah, I haven't been really testing the weapons. Just been playing the Tempest, which is insane break power. But yeah, that's it.
Everyone's just defaulting to Tempest again. I guess nothing really changed on that front.
I mean, they tried to
Yeah.
nerf Tempest, but they buffed it, so I mean, it's even more ridiculous now.
Hmm.
Yep.
How about you, Sin?
Well, I haven't gotten any of the new stuff yet. I do love the Hellswarm though. It's funny that the mortar used to kill people. I would have enjoyed that. But yeah, I'm almost to the. I almost have Wingrave's weapon. That's what I was shooting for because I've been enjoying playing Wingrave and I've been using the Titan's Bane, so I know exactly what you mean, Tom. You just feel powerful with that in your hand. And I love how they changed the animation to now where it's like a crack in the ground versus the four little volcano pillars. The crack looks cooler to me. It fits.
I like it. I do like it. I like the way it looks, but it's really hard to, because of the way momentum is right now. It's really hard to gauge how that animation impacts damage, if it has any impact at all. Well, like if it's just an animation change, because I know like the old Titan's Bane had like 3 dots, right? So you could overlap 2 of those dots. But yeah, I'm not sure how this new one really impacts Titan's Bane specifically.
Mm.
I just can't test it fairly because of the way momentum is right now. It's really hit and miss. You just can't there's times where you can do momentum, and then there's times where it just won't stack at all. Yeah, it's a
Yeah, I
it's a
know
sad
exactly
kind
what
of
you mean.
situation.
Because you'll see it at a flash up, like you can hit it 1 second, and by the time you hit the button, you can't do it. And you're
Yeah.
just like, huh? It's
So
like, what just happened?
I did actually PM Snarf and Sorrow, and I had to like do some video evidence. A couple of runs we done, just like showing it off, and that has now been passed to the internal team. So hopefully, I would like a hotfix before Christmas, ideally, with the momentum. But we'll see, But I don't know why I've got a feeling this might be a comeback in January thing, and it might be fixed then. But I'm really hoping before Christmas that fix goes out, because it's kind of killing two-handed for me at this point.
I
You
mean,
just need to join the Tempest Club, man. That's
yeah, just swap to Windsmother thing. This thing is insane. Honestly, the damage output it does with its ability is pretty crazy. Especially thinking about the fact that like weapons ability in general feels weaker now. I can't even imagine what it would have been like before the patch. If we got that weapon, that thing would have been.
I do have
broken.
I do have a question for you on that, right? Because you've played with both weapons. You've played with Titan's Bane, and you've played with this new one.
Mhm.
What one do you feel is doing more damage right now? Because one goes to 300% combo, right? And the other one's like just 200 with Titan's Bane.
Yeah. Honestly, I would say they both feel pretty similar in damage, but Titan's Bane is more like bursty, while Windsmother Fang, you need to actually stay in combat for long and just build up that combo and use the ability and, keep that combo up pretty much. So Windsmother feels more like a DPS, like constant weapon with some spikes here and there, while Titan's Bane is just one big burst when you use that ability, and then that's pretty much it.
Can you still cleave on the new one?
Yeah. If mobs are close enough to each other, you can hit a group. But
Maybe new Reaver King material, right? That new one.
maybe. Also,
Okay.
one of you guys mentioned Senja. So speaking of which, how do you feel
Yeah.
about the rework?
I was just about to get onto that. How are you guys feeling about Sanjay right now?
I definitely think that she's in the 3-man meta, but for the 2-man meta, I don't think she's in there. I think it's still gonna be Venomous and Silo, but I could see us using Senja instead of Wingrave in the future because of her new ult. Like she buffs an extra, is it 27 or 30%? On top of her,
33% with the upgrade, yeah.
yeah, and then on top of her other buffs and debuffs for enemies, she's pretty strong.
Yeah, I can agree with that. I think she would definitely be a part of the three-man team, but not two, especially. And They just fixed her defense, which she's now like crazy. She can just stand in Reaver King puddles like it's nothing. Like the whole thing just through. The Reaver King is a joke now with Senja.
I mean, every single character can stand in the Reaver King puddle at the moment. I'm
Yeah,
taking like 40 damage per tick.
yeah, exactly. People first it became, a good amount of hard. Then people complain, and now you're just unkillable, and that's why it's a bit ridiculous. But
Yeah.
Senja's good. Senja's a good rework.
Honestly, I find it kind of funny because when the patch dropped and everyone was saying that like we take way too much damage and the game is way too hard now, I kind of just stacked 4k HP on my Senja and was just face thinking everything. I was like, I have no
Yeah.
idea what you guys are talking about. I'm immortal right now. I'm just healing through everything and taking like 30 damage per hit or something.
I
Yeah,
think
now
I think the thing that people are crying about is because before you could literally, on my silo, I'm not using a single defensive echo. Farewell, I'm using a ranged weapon, but you could do that on melee weapons as well. But now, since they like kind of made things hit harder, you can't do that. And there was no reason to run defensive echoes before because nothing would kill you. So I think it's actually a positive change that they make the game harder and like kind of forces people to use defensive echoes instead of just going full like DPS.
I do
Yeah.
actually agree with that. I feel like the game should be harder, but Bing did witness some shenanigans yesterday. In a certain beast mastering counter, I had my Kyros 1.8k HP, just over 1k resilience, and one shot.
The Panther, yeah.
Oh, no,
Yeah,
not even the Beastmaster one. We were running auto art and like just a random Panther pounced on Tom and just one shot
Yeah.
him like
But
instantly.
they buffed the Panthers as well. Like they're very strong.
They buffed all three of them. The bird is a missile. It's a missile. And the bear, I don't know what they did to him, but he's now the Flash. He will pop up on you. He's just there. It's crazy.
definitely felt the pain yesterday.
Yeah, at some point
Yeah.
during one of our runs, like Tom got caught in a river ambush, like not the normal one of the map, like the one with the firewalls that no one can get in once it starts, and he just got bullied by two bone breakers. Like he couldn't do anything about it.
Oh yeah, that was a point. Bone breakers. So I put 2 ults into these bone breakers. That's how long the fight took.
Jeez.
And you know what? 2 ults didn't even take him down to half HP on a Kyros. And yeah, it felt terrible. Yet you can go onto Winggrave and just bully them back. Like it doesn't make sense. This is the one thing that's actually kind of confusing me about this game is how they are balancing Wayfinders, because you have Nis and Kyros, right? These are pure DPS glass cannon Wayfinders, and right now the trade-off just ain't worth to run them. It's really not. When you can take Venom S, you can take Winggrave, Senja now, Silo, and have a way better time, way easier time.
Me and a guy
Yeah.
called Ron was talking about that exact thing the other day. Like the Arcanist just feels so weak, and we hope that they implement cooldown to echoes. Maybe you have a rush echo that maybe like procs when you kill an enemy, you get 20% cooldown reduction, or maybe you just get like a flat percent cooldown reduction echo. So you can pay off some of your damage, but you can spam your abilities more. So it wouldn't be like you just get free cooldown. You actually have to pay off damage to get your cooldown, or something like when you hit an enemy, you get cooldown or something. Because the characters who are like they need their abilities to shine. It just feels bad because whenever you use your abilities, yeah, you do damage, but then you have like this downtime where just like hitting things with a noodle, you know. I mean,
Yeah, I feel like the Arcanist could almost have a passive, like just tied to the archetype. Like if you kill an enemy with an ability, like your stuff start get it off cooldown faster for a bit or something.
Yeah, or they could change the innovation orbs. I mean, they drop in an abundance, right? So instead of giving it, is it 10% AP, you could just make every single orb like refresh 10% of your cooldown on all your abilities.
That would be really good. And since
Yeah.
allies can pick the orbs too, that could help the
Yeah,
whole team.
it
Yeah,
could
that
help
would-
the whole team as well.
Like, I think out of the two Arcanists, this isn't in too bad of a spot because like you can still run weapon power and stuff. It's not as good as the others, but she can pull out some decent numbers. But Kyros is just like his rakes are fantastic, but his ult just ain't. That's not an ult. His rake should be ult at this point, and like, just two ultimates put into some enemies, like, and you can't even get them halfway down. It got to the point I said to Bing, look, just finish these mobs off for me, because he was on his Senja, and I was like, I'm just gonna go for a drink. It wasn't worth the pain at that point. And it's not like I know how to play Kyros, right? Like, it's not, like for people listening, I'm not just like hitting an ult. I'm putting the damage buffs up there as well. I'm potting at points as well. Like I'm taking pots in just to do this. And I used to be able to one-shot Dread Legion in the first phase. Yeah, just what I witnessed yesterday. I would argue right now that guy is the worst Wayfinder in the game. Because I did see a conversation going off in the Wayfinder Discord about this as well, and I actually do have to agree with some of the people in that thing. I feel like he's in a really bad state compared to others right now. Out of everyone, like he's the new Senja of sorts. So and it's really bad because I really wanted to play the guy. Like that was half the reason I came into this game was because of him and the fucking Epitaph Scythe. And it's just ironic I'm on Wingrave right now, but it is what it is. Like Sin, Frosty, like what's your opinions on the Senja stuff and balance in general? I guess since we're leaning into the balance side of it.
Balance side. I don't know. I've not really played Senja much to have a opinion on that, but I was just watching. Earlier, I was playing with everybody, and the Senja was just crazy so far.
I haven't played with her either. I'm going to farm her now since the rework, so I wouldn't. I've seen some videos of gameplay and the people complaining, and I saw the people not necessarily complaining, but talking about it in the chat. So I get to see how it is now. But I agree with you on Kyros because I bought the pack because I wanted the heroic one. I wanted the extra slot, and even with the extra slot, I just can't do it. It's no, you just die on things you shouldn't die from. You die, and it's like no.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a sorry
speak-
state of affairs.
Speaking of that extra slot, real quick, I know Tom, you saw. Did they change the slot or?
Yeah, so heroic Kyros come with an extra rush slot. That actually now got changed to an extra balance
What?
slot. That was one of the things I noticed yesterday, and I thought, oh, here we go. Like they're finally like, yeah, and it didn't really do much. It didn't change anything in any meaningful way, really. So yeah, sad panda for Kyros right now. But it was good that they at least changed the slot. But that's the second time he's had his slot changed since launch of the game now. Because originally he came, was it cross slot? I believe he came out with a cross slot. Then it got changed to a rush slot, and now it's been changed to a balance slot.
Well, I didn't even know you had a cross slot at some point.
Yeah, day one launch of the game, he came out of a cross slot. And that actually wasn't too bad. I feel like an extra cross slot instead of a rush slot would have been better. But I'll take the balance slot over the rush slot. But yeah, cross slot wasn't too bad, having two of them. Bloody expensive though to run on a budget or on Echoes. But
I mean, maybe it could have been affordable with the Awakenings now that we got more capacity. Awakenings that are also pretty expensive. Speaking of that, like the cost on these things are insane. I'm not complaining about it because it will keep us occupied for a long time, I think. But just seeing that for a single character, I need to grind like 1,000 Spectra. Like, oh,
See,
it's gonna take a while.
the thing is with that as well is a lot of people who don't own heroic Kyros are just seeing those costs. You should see heroic Kyros' costs and then cry, because when your Wayfinder comes out as an heroic, it's going to be quite painful. I feel like, because there's a lot of glimmering stuff that you need for him right now.
It's a lot, a
Yeah,
whole lot.
and that's just to unlock like tier 1. I haven't even seen the cost of tier 2 and 3, but just to unlock tier 1 is quite costly. And with the changes to the shadow imbuement, to run like double shadow, quite a pain in the ass as well if you don't like getting constantly slown throughout the maps. But it is what it
Yeah.
is. I do like the imbuement changes. We should actually talk about the imbuement changes. I feel like that one's it's got some fun in there, right? So Bing, I think it was me and you yesterday as well, or the day before. We were running, is it double chaos?
Yeah, double chaos, double. We also ran double solar and double shadow. Double shadow didn't change that much, but double chaos sure feels like chaos. Jesus, this thing is. I mean, I heard it was pretty much the same before patch, but I wasn't playing with people that much before patch. But yesterday I did a couple of runs with Secta and a new guy was just joining us and getting stuff with us. And it was a freaking nightmare. Like, we couldn't stay in the same spot for more than 2 seconds before just beginning fire everywhere. It was crazy.
Oh, okay.
How did the new guy get on quickly? Because he was on a Kyros as well, right?
Yeah. He managed to survive, kinda. Like, he was pretty much just running around this, dodging the bombs rather than fighting, because he would just get destroyed if a bomb hit him.
Yeah, I just got the patch notes up here, so I think the ones I'm noticing, like Trickster fixed fake loot spawns and stuff. They updated the bombs to match radiuses with art better. So with that, like that on the ground, as it's expanding, it now, when it reaches the end, will accurately explode, where before you would dodge but then still get hit by it. And then the ragdoll was also updated as well. That one's pretty fun, the ragdoll. I do like getting ragdolled by them. It's kind of just fun just to stand there and see your character bounce around the place.
I think the imbuement changes are like before. No one was using 2 imbuments because why would you? Why would you make yourself suffer? Now you need to do it, which I think is a good idea so people can start using them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
I like the idea and concept, but we just need so much improvements. I'm not gonna have enough to get all the stuff I need. So
I mean, I was
Yeah.
having to get Bing to loan me some shadow imbuements because
Oh,
they
okay.
just got ate up. I was farming for this patch for quite a while, and yeah, no more shadow imbuements for me, especially not having to run double just to get the materials as well.
they did actually buff the skeleton chest in Highlands, so now it drops all 3 possible drops. So you get 3 imbuements every single time.
I
Really?
noticed that actually, but they also made it so because there were people AFK farming it. They also made it now the way you have to move to pick them up.
Yeah.
Which I guess that's the trade-off, right? But
Hmm.
yeah,
But
it was nice to actually get some shadow imbuements out of that late last night. But it's a 2-tap. What are your thoughts on the imbuement updates and stuff that they done?
So I feel like it's a good improvement, but they need to make imbuements drop more often then, because people are suffering because they can't get their materials because they don't have the imbuements. And I think for like especially for like new players coming to the game, like, oh, a giant patch, I'm gonna go play. But I mean, they can't really farm any of the materials because they don't have the imbuements. So it's in that case it's kind of bad. But I like that they're trying to incorporate the lesser played imbuements. Like you never did double or triple imbuements before, but now you're kind of forced to do it. I kind of like that aspect, but for new players, yeah, I think it's pretty bad.
I do feel like it now gives you purpose to run them.
Yeah.
But I feel like there needs to be an easier way of getting your hands on imbuements, and crafting them is still, like with Gloom stones as well. This side of the patch is still a massive pain in the ass because you can't
Yeah.
like bulk craft. You have to keep holding space down to do it one at a time, and I feel like at the moment, if they want people to seriously go out and get those imbuements and craft them and stuff, yeah, that might be next on the list to look at adjusting that. Because yeah, the Gloomstone's big nose with me was a major pain in the ass. I had to craft 90 Gloomstones, and painful waiting. How
I feel
about
like
you,
the
Vic?
whole crafting.
I mean, I'll kind of like that we have to use the imbuement because, as you guys said, it gives them purpose. But I also kind of dislike that they need to go like to do this to force us to use imbuement. Like, kind of wish there was a more like natural way of using imbuement without being forced to use them for materials or whatever. Even if you don't want to use them, but honestly, I have no idea how they could do that. I just think the whole imbuement idea in general needs a bit of reworking, probably, because it doesn't feel quite good. Like some of the mixes, but not mixes, but like some of the effects that you get from the imbuements sometimes feel just way too unfun to play with, and being forced to use them just feels kind of bad.
They actually reworked a ton of the imbuements, like mutators.
Yeah, they
patch.
did rework some feels way less worse than before. Like we did some double solar and it's not a freaking nightmare anymore. Like the dot just doesn't destroy you, but still like don't feel like it's ideal. And also for the Spectras, I'm not sure if I'm just really unlucky or something, but I feel like the drop rate and the quantity we get are super low. Like on average, running double chaos on Hollow Art Sphere 4, which is supposed to be like the best place to get a lot of Spectra, I was getting like 15, maybe 20 per run, which feels really low for the investment in imbuement and in suffering going through double chaos. So, not sure if I'm just really unlucky or something, but it feels really low.
I have a theory actually. Okay. So do you remember those tournaments, the community tournaments? And there was a load of people that was like, "Oh, I've not played with this imbuement, blah 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 blah." Do you feel like this is their way of getting people more accustomed to like double chaos and stuff?
I don't think it's because of the actual tournaments, but I do think it. Like from the dev side, like they want people to play like all of their content because otherwise, I mean, no one would have done Triple Shadow like willingly unless it was for the quest or if it had like drops tied to it. And now that it actually has pristine Shadow Warp tied to it, people need to do it. So
True. It was only a joke with the tournaments, by the way, guys. I wasn't like being
yeah, okay.
serious, but like it was just like a fun little theory because that was one of the things in the tournaments where people were like, I've not played with this imbuement set before. So it's just like, yeah, why not just force it upon your players to go and get good at it, right? Kind of thing. But again, joke. Don't take me saying go get good or anything seriously to those listening. But
No, he's totally serious.
Well, you heard him. He said skill issue.
Sin, how about you, buddy? Like, how are you finding any imbuements? Like, have you played through imbuements this side of the patch?
I actually haven't paid through imbuement yet. I'm actually going to do all that tomorrow. I got to play a little bit and almost get Wingrave's weapon, but that's about it. But I plan to dive in and see what, because that's like you said, I see the changes where you actually have to do the double imbuement, like the molten and whatnot.
Yep. Okay. So we also had like the winter kind of like the update. You know, everything's snowy now. There's like the little Christmas theme and stuff. How are you guys finding that? Like, is it appealing, or do you prefer it would go back to the way it was? And also, has that music started getting on your nerves yet? It's good
Um,
music, but I feel like after a few, a couple of weeks, it's gonna start grinding a bit.
so I think I have the music turned off, so I don't hear that. Second of all, I like all the ice stuff, but it makes the Highlands unplayable, basically. It's so laggy. But I think all the ice stuff is pretty cool.
Do you have an SSD?
I actually don't know.
Because
Probably
I
not.
saw Snarf posting instead of Dev Tracker that now it's required because you're like you need your SSD to like remember all of the because it's so much visual stuff. So if it has to like reprocess everything every time, it's gonna fucking die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was one of the complaints they on the patch. It felt laggy, but after a while, it picked itself up. I think everyone kind of experienced some sort of lag to begin with while it just done shaders and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, go
Also
on, Mike.
for the map, yeah, the snow stuff, and especially the music. I got somewhat of a surprise with the music and just the audio in general. Because just for context, I'm one of these stupid people that for every game they play, they put the audio really low, but I just put my headset really high. And so with the patch, for some reason, my old audio settings just reset to default, which means they went back to max volume. So when I joined Skylight the first time I logged in after the patch, my eardrums just exploded pretty much with the music. It was so freaking loud. So yeah, I kind of hate the music just for that, really. But was pretty big jump scare. But other than that, I really like the new Skylight. I like all the little details they put, like the fact that if you step into the snow and then go to a spot where there's no snow, you have like little footsteps. They've frozen the lake over, so we can actually walk on it now and stuff like that. So yeah, they did some pretty cool details, and it's just nice to see, different map. I'm not sure if we're all gonna feel the same in like 3 weeks, but we'll see when we get there. I also don't know like how long they intend to keep that new map in.
I would think until January.
I think till January 12th when the event is supposed to end.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would make sense. Because I'd imagine like events in this game would last like 6 weeks or so. Like if they do a Halloween one as well, maybe
I
it
mean,
starts 2 weeks before it lasts throughout Halloween, and then like 2 weeks after and stuff.
the event we're getting like right now is not even a month. So like it starts today, which is the 15th currently, and it's supposed to end on the 12th of January. So I feel it's
Mm.
pretty short.
I feel like
Because
they might extend it though because it's got a delayed launch. They might extend it a few days, but yeah.
yeah, I kind of hope they do because I feel like it feels a bit short, like barely 4 weeks. Especially with the holidays, like a lot of people are going to be away with families. And,
There's actually one thing I do want to quickly bring up as well, and this is a big plus for this game, okay? And that is the new sound effects, like the weapons, and that will make the feedback sounds that you get. That shit feels fantastic to me, at least. Like when you're actually like critting and stuff, you can hear it go popping off. stuff like that.
Have you tried critting with a Tempest?
No, I played it on Winggrave. I'm not gonna crit.
So my theory is that the crit noise gets layered from every pellet that crits, and yes, every pellet can crit now. But they doubled the amount of pellets, so now the Tempest shoots 12 pellets instead of 6. So it sounds like a suppressed shotgun every time you shoot it. It's like
Is that a plus for you though, or is that a negative?
I
in your
mean,
book?
I don't mind it, but it's just I wish that if you crit on one pellet, it would show like it's only if you crit on all 12 pellets the text is white, and since Silo has a passive that buffs his damage by 20% when you crit an enemy, it's pretty like big that you know when you have crit the enemy. I guess you can tell from the sound, but I would like a visual as well.
Yeah, that's actually a
But
good
yeah, I
point.
mean, I like the sounds. It's I mean, I like everything new. I mean, I love running in Baldoom now, and I would never run in Baldoom before. But like, just looking at something different just makes like a giant change for me, at least.
Yeah, I feel
Like,
the exact same way with that. Like, I
and
never
also
really
like
touched
new.
much of the mind maps at all, and then
Yeah,
this patch
exactly.
came, and now I actually want to. I'm actually enjoying going and farming the mind maps. Before they weren't really my cup of tea; they felt a little bland, and it was always like repository and stuff for me. Now I actually want to go and do the mind maps, and repository, and I actually don't mind that either. But it has
Yeah.
opened me up to more, wanting to do more with that. How about you, Bing and Sin and Frosty? Like, how are you guys feeling on that?
I'll let the other guys go. I feel like I'm talking way too much. So Sin or Frosty or whoever.
I'm enjoying like the details in the runs, because before I was looking at the walls and it kind of looked like cave paintings, but now the definition on it, sometimes I get hit by stuff because I'm actually looking at the wall.
Yeah.
But yeah, just I love the attention to detail. Like I said, with the Sindra rework, that makes me, I'm going to farm her now to play her, because like you spoke before, Kyros, I just can't do either one of them. And with the imbuements, yeah, I do feel like they forcing everybody to play the imbuements to get the, because I like the way it was before. It felt like it made sense. It felt like it flowed right. But this way, I guess, if you're saying, oh, you got all these imbuements stacked up and you're not using them, so now you have to use them. It feels like the imbuement should be more like a weather system in the Gloom. Like the Gloom is on solar right now at this point for whatever reason, for however many time limit, and it just cycles kind of like seasons or something like that. Versus us having them and being able to use them, I think it'll be more beneficial or more functional if you like go up to the portal and the portal's got like a weather system. And it's like, oh, in this general area is chaos right now, and in this general area, solar is flaring up, and in this area, the trickster's playing around. So it feels like it would work better that way versus us putting imbuements in to do it ourselves.
That's actually pretty smart.
That's it. That's an interesting idea. I didn't even think about that.
I kind of like the idea that chaos is a weather somehow, like it's just raining bombs or something.
Yeah, like the trickster invaded the mines right now, so this it's chaos or something, something like that.
Yeah.
That could work.
Yeah, I actually thinking about it, like, because as Sim was saying it, I was trying to process it in my head, but it'd be kind of like cold and warm in Warframe for Fortuna, where you can only catch certain amount, certain things when it's warm, and you can only do certain things when it's cold and stuff like that. Same for day and night on the plains of Eidolon. You can only catch certain fish there. And the Eidolons only come out at night.
And Eidolons only come out at night. Yeah, exactly, something like that. So where it's except just make it rotate. You'll have all of them going at the same time, and at certain times it'll be the intensity where it'll be double or triple, and it'll have something there to let you know, oh, this is double or this is triple, that kind of thing. versus having us input it to do it. Have
I
it
wouldn't
go on
mind
the
if
area.
I wouldn't mind if they'd done something like that in the open world as well, like day and night, where there's certain stuff going on in the day, certain stuff going on in the night, and they incorporated some sort of farming into that as well, like for material
Ooh.
farms.
All right, you brought me back to an idea I had before. All right, I know housing is far off, but I had this idea for guild housing where, because at the end of every mission we stab. It took me a while to figure out why we were stabbing the blob. I'm not gonna lie, because I wasn't reading. I was skipping through everything. But then I found out, oh, that's an anchor. We're destroying the anchor to go back to what's left of reality. So what if there was a special type of anchor that when you destroy it, it stayed destroyed for a certain amount of time, and you can always go back and destroy it. But if you don't, then it eventually encroach and take the area back over. What if that was how they approach guild housing? So that, say, once a month, at least 12 members of the guild had to go complete this event to destroy the anchor to keep the area where their guild is. If not, if you don't destroy it within the first month, then it takes half the stuff over. Some stuff is degraded. You can't use some stuff. Like it's a progression thing.
Oh,
It,
Does that
it
make
sounds,
sense?
it sounds, yeah, it sounds partly like guild missions in a way. Is what you're describing there, where guilds have to go and do those objectives, and if they don't, they miss out.
I'm
Yeah.
liking your ideas. These are interesting.
That's a very in-depth idea, actually. I'm not very big on lore, but it sounds pretty interesting that you have to like maintain your area, or else it would be like.
Because the little bit I did pay attention in the story, they're talking about reclaiming stuff from the gloom. So I mean, it fits in what they're saying we're supposed to do. Because how else
Oh,
we
the
gonna get
Gloom.
everything back?
Yeah, maybe the
I mean,
Gloom,
there's
was the
one thing with
retake
that
as well.
idea. What if the guild hall has a beacon in it?
Ooh.
Because the beacon shields from the gloom. But I do like the idea though. So I do like the
So
idea
yeah,
where
so all right, so yeah, we start the guild. Once you get up to a certain amount of guild members, then the quest triggers for you to be able to do the mission to get a guild hall. You go do the mission, you clear out the area. Then once you clear out the area, it's clear for a month, and that month gives you time to collect the materials to craft the lantern that you put at the top of the guild that keeps it away indefinitely. How about that?
That could work.
It definitely
There's a
Yeah.
lot of
works.
ideas.
Sounds like a nice system to go along with like all the in-game stuff they want to put in.
It does, but here's the thing: I have a sense already that for a lot of guilds, and I'm not saying R1 because I do find this a good idea. So I think for a lot of guilds though, like if it came out, they may not like that idea so much. I don't know why. I've just got it in my head. Like I'm thinking about. There's always a negative with an idea, right? There's always a for and against, and I feel like smaller guilds may not like it. I think for us that'd be perfect because I feel like we could actually
Well,
like pull that off and get the numbers behind it. But I feel like if you've got a guild of like 5 players,
well,
I mean, you could scale
well,
with the
let's
amount of
say,
people you have.
all right. So I got to solve for that. They're already gonna give us player housing, right? Let's say that the first stage of the guild house, when you have like 4 or 5 members yeah, let's say 4 or 5 members, that house is regular. It's outside. It's a building in Skylight somewhere. But if you get a bigger guild, then you get the opportunity to go claim some gloom space.
like Bing, do you have anything on the way of guilds like while we're on the subject?
I hope that there will be some kind of competition between guilds. You know, like
Yeah,
what you.
that would
I
be
mean,
nice.
we want to strive to be the best guild. You know, I mean, can we do that through like quest points or like I don't know how they will put up that system, but I want to. Let's say like a leaderboard or something. Whoever has the most quest points, or yeah, you know what I mean. Like something to strive for to make your guild the best.
Maybe something like out in online, you get guild points for like doing certain things for your guild and stuff. So maybe
Yeah.
Wayfinder could have like quests for guild quests or tasks to do what how many dungeons a guild has cleared or something.
I
You
feel
know?
like whatever they do though, they need to make it fair. Like, and by that I mean like, if we take like an average guild in Wayfinder right now, and then we pair them against us, we're quite big compared to a lot of guilds out there right now. So
Yeah, there will of course have to be like a cap to a guild. I know that you guys are like, what? How many guys are you in your Discord here?
We're over 200 people. Well, not
Yeah.
everybody is active, obviously, but
I mean, if guilds can hold 200 people, that will be great because then we can just keep recruiting. But do you think there will be space for 200, 500?
I'm hoping 500. I feel like in Guild Wars 2 it's like 500. Warframe's like a crazy amount as well.
yeah, it's
I feel like
4,000 people.
I feel like 500 should be a good base. I don't think a lot of guilds will fill that up. But I feel like there should be room for bigger guilds out there. But they also need to make how they score points fairer, so it's not just the big guilds dominating little guilds on points. Otherwise, Ret's just going to send in its members, and they've only got to casually play, and you could go up against a very small guild that's like grinding hard, and because of our sheer size on points based, we would just dominate that way. I feel like there needs to be some way of closing the gap to have a true contest where it's not just send in hundreds of people and
I
stump
feel
it.
I feel like the easiest way of just dealing with that is make like leaderboards or contests or whatever just tied to guild of certain sizes, like different groups, or like guild with 5 people or match against each other, to guild with 20 people or match against each other, guild with 100 people, etc. You see the idea? Just so it's not everyone against everyone. Would already be way more fair. But I will say though, I'm kind of questioning like why they can't add a basic guild system already. Like not like stuff with the neighborhoods or challenges, but just like basic guild. Just create a guild, add people in it, and like that's it.
I do feel like that would help a lot of guilds out right now, and then guilds could act because with Discord you can't really measure who's active and who's not all the time, because a lot of people may be on Discord but they're just like lurking and but not playing the game, and then you have other people which vice versa. But I feel like if they had a way of guilds in game right now, a lot of guilds could track who's actually active and that, because then they'll say last logged in date and time, and then you can kind of micromanage your kind of guild / community there. Yeah, because that's
I
one of the
feel
things
like
we've got now. We've got a lot of members, but there's some people we just actually don't know if that like stopped playing the game, or if they've gone off to play other games, or if they're still playing Wayfinder. And without like directly PMing them and bothering them, yeah, you can't kind of stay up to date on that stuff.
I can tell you, I do not want to PM like 150 people to see if they're still playing the game. That's gonna take a long ass time.
Yeah.
I feel like they haven't added the guild system yet because they still the crafting needs a rework. Period. Like the whole crafting needs a rework.
Yes. The one actually that is the next subject. Let's go into that. Let's come off guilds. So let's go into crafting right now, okay? Because again, we've briefly gone over this with like Gloomstones, but I feel like equipment is due because of the Awakenings out. I feel like being able to craft higher tier equipment for example, we have like the Beastmaster set, the craftable in there is like what 25 or something, 27, whatever it is. That kind of needs to go up now because of the Awakening. Even if you go and farm the other 2 Beastmaster parts at 33, you're kind of still limited because of that craftable piece right now. So you're kind of forced to look for alternative sets, which is great, but you know, sometimes you just want to stick with what you've got and what you know holds true.
Yeah.
You know, what are you guys' thoughts on that kind of side of it as well? Like, do you wish it was in now, or like, are you happy that it's kind of been delayed? I guess in a sense that they're still working on it.
I feel like it's a much bigger system than just okay, make us craft items that's higher level, because yeah, then you can craft the Beastmaster set on higher level, but what about some of the lower sets? I mean, should they drop higher as well then? I mean, I know that I think it's the set from Commander Creed. That's actually a pretty good set, like stat wise, but the level just, I mean, it will never be used. I would like if they could like, you know, make that set drop in a higher level. Maybe that the set drops at like max level for Mythic. I mean, we don't know that yet, but make us use all of the different sets that are in the game.
Yeah, I actually agree with that. I feel like there should be a way of upping the lower stuff as well. So if you do get epics off like Commander Creed, you can up those as well with the craftable. Obviously, there's going to be a material sink that comes with it, but I'd be down for
But
that.
yeah, that's fine, because I mean, yeah, you can get things dropped that is okay. But let's say I want to bump up Commander Creed for the, let's say it's the best in slot DPS. It shouldn't be something I should get in one day. I should grind my ass off for a week to get that set, because it's the min max version of the set. So I mean, and that's also like one of the parts I think most of the community like don't like about the game. Like if you want to get full purples, it doesn't take one day. It takes much longer than that, and I think people just want their stuff now. But I mean, there is
See,
a grinding aspect to the game.
I do agree with that, and I feel like if you were to allow lower sets to come up to higher level, the grind still needs to be that you need to acquire the purple piece with the echo slots that you want on it, because that's still
Yeah.
going to take a while, and then you could just allow it to then be leveled up at a material sink. I feel like that'd be a good balanced way of doing it. I don't think that people should be allowed to change echo slots on equipment. I
No,
feel like
no,
that
that
needs
would
to
be
be
very bad.
earned. Yeah, that stuff needs to be earned.
I get
does
that
need to be a
that they
grind now.
made like I get that they made event materials much easier for like the casual players, but I mean, I farmed like all the bones, all the halcyon orbs, and I think I got up to like 370 trickster coins, the old method. But I mean, yeah, if you want anybody to like awaken stuff now, you pretty much needed to buff the shit out of that, and that's fine. But I think the more like less necessary like loot boosts, like you know, I mean, yeah, you boost the shit out of trickster coins, but that doesn't mean we have to boost like the shit ton of on Beastmaster set, for example. You know,
Yeah,
like
One thing I will say about accessories set that I think a lot of people kind of forgot about them is the fact that right now they give only stats and nothing else. So I think that's kind of why they don't make a lower level set go higher, because that's probably just the same stats that a higher set already gives. Like at some point you just run out of ways to mix stats together. There's not that many. So I really feel that accessories in general, like the sets, need to give something else than just stats. Like they need to have, you know, a unique like effect or power or anything like that. Because at some point we're just gonna run out of different accessories. Like it's just gonna be this repeat of the same thing over and over. And
I
there
think
won't
that would
be
be very good, because it also opens up like a whole new path of theory crafting. Like let's say you have a set, it doesn't give percentages to stats. necessarily like flat stats, but you get like a flat 10% like crit rating on top of like, so you can go for like a full crit set, and that's like the only thing it does. Or maybe it's like a rush echo where it gives you like a passive of some sort. Like it's not only gonna be
Yeah, accessories need something more because right now I feel a lot of systems gives only stat and almost nothing else, and it just kind of stacks over each other and doesn't bring much. So I really need they should like spread stuff apart a bit more and have more unique things in play because right now we're just stacking stats and that's pretty much it. We're not using
I do have
anything
an
else.
idea for this actually, but this is more for when like legendary, if that ever comes out. But would be an accessory set where it doesn't come with any stats. It comes with more echo slots and capacity, and you build it yourself. Obviously, like you could pick from a list of set bonuses. There would be like a small list, okay? But they, again, this is why it would be legendary. It'd be very hard to acquire, but you would pick from a set bonus. But the stats you have to build yourself. Like the echoes you put into it are your thing.
Yeah, I liked it. I don't know if you guys ever played a Path of Exile. I don't
Yeah.
know. Yeah,
played it
I
a
don't
little.
remember the exact name of the item, but there's a white armor that just it didn't give any stats, but it had like perfect slots. So whereas another armor slot would give you like max health and resilience or resistance and other stuff, this armor would just give you nothing, but it had like best in slot like gem slots for your gems.
I mean,
So
I
it would be better in some scenarios to use that compared to others, if you know what I mean.
yeah, I kind of feel that an accessory like that, or even an accessory set like that, would need two things. First, it would need to have echoes like farming changed a bit, because otherwise, like how good it is would be really reliant on how good echoes you have. So either your RNG or just if you're playing the game a lot. So for some people, it might just be straight up unusable. And also, they would need to find a way to balance it out with other accessories. I feel because otherwise, it's just gonna always be the best in slotting for everything, pretty much.
Well, I did think about that, and that's why I tied it to like down the line where legendary, if that ever appears, will come out. But I actually wouldn't be against it being tied behind mythic raids as a very rare drop, like a 0.5 1% drop or something, where you got to get a bit lucky to get this as well and put some time in. And I feel like if you're doing like mythic raids at that point, you're gonna have the echoes because you got to be able to play mythic raids. So it's kind of tied to difficulty. But again, it would be a very low drop percentage. I feel like like the beast, one of the Beastmaster accessories. Everyone was complaining, oh, it never drops, blah 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 blah, like that. But in raids on mythic difficulty, and that would be your end game chaser, and you'll be there ages trying to get it. And the payoff though would be that you get to do that kind of stuff. You get to select the set bonus and put your echoes in and stuff. But that would be the incentive. Would be a small power creep. Don't know.
I have a
I don't know. I'm
slightly
not like
different
sold
idea.
on it, but
Maybe I'm looking too much into the raids, like from a hardcore point of view. But that would definitely get me raiding every week, multiple times a week.
To just talk a little bit about raids. We actually spoke with Ganek. I don't know if you know that guy.
Yeah.
But he said he also wants some like crazy hard content for the game. So we were talking a little bit about, okay, yeah, raid should be hard, but what about the casual player side? So he was throwing the idea like, okay, you just make a normal raid, and then you make like a kind of a mythic raid, right? And the normal raid should be easy, so everybody can do it. But the mythic raid should have higher drop chances of the certain items. So the hardcore players could go do the hard content and farm loot faster than the casuals, but the casual could still do the content. Just it will take longer, you know.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
I
thought
agree
that
with
was
that
a
do. I
pretty
method?
really do.
interesting idea.
Yeah, like there's similar things to Star Wars: The Old Republic, where you have story mode, which is basically like the casuals walkthrough of it, and everyone learns the mechanics of the raid and stuff. You have hard mode, which takes it up a tier, and then you have nightmare mode, which would be like the hardest difficulty and stuff. And with that came better gear rate and stuff, and that'd be
Yeah.
great. Something like that in this game could really work, especially with how the accessory system and that is in this game. That could pay off pretty big, and it also then creates an incentive, and it also still allows like more casual players to take part in the stuff and still get like some pretty decent stuff as well out of it. Sin, you've been quite a buddy. How are you feeling on like on the accessories on this as well?
I actually have an idea about the accessories. I was thinking more along the lines of I say the white accessory comes as it is or whatever stats on it. When you get the green, you get improved stats and you get one slot. But then when you get the blue, you get two slots, but you also get an experience bar. And what the experience bar do will unlock a passive once you fill it. The passive
Interesting.
applies to the three sets, but to the set of three. Right. So each one have its experience bar. You fill the three experience bars and you get the passive with the set. But when you go up to purple, that's when you get a second either stat boost or another active, kind of like the Octorok or the Worm, something along those lines.
I like that idea. Like
Yeah.
because accessories right now are just they are just stat sticks, and like yeah, I can get a purple one and get like 500 weapon power more. But I mean,
And
it's
I think we
literally
should
like a
also get
meaning.
to pick the level. Like when we're crafting it, I think we should get to pick the level within a certain range, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see something like that bit coming in as well. That's the thing. This could go so many ways. So
Yeah.
many ways. Because like you have a more casual aspect of it, you have a hardcore aspect of it. Like it really depends
That
on
way
who
you keep everybody interested.
Yeah. Interesting. I am gonna bring us off at the accessories very quickly as well, because we've got quite a few bits in this patch. Like I don't think this podcast is gonna do this patch justice either. So we have Beastmaster, for example. He got a bit of a buff for those of you listening. Yeah, no longer really a DPS dummy anymore, right? He's kind of mean right now. Like, how are you guys feeling about Beastmaster? Even if you haven't played it yet, like, how are you when you're looking at the patch notes? What are you feeling off that as well?
I
So
personally. Oh, go ahead, Frosty.
what's it? I've done it. I've already done Beastmaster. They've done a hot fix twice now, and Beastmaster isn't a problem anymore. But before he was beating me up. I wanted to cry. He was destroying me. Reaper King as well. They were crazy. It's the cleave when he cleaves and you're just you can't move, and then the bird comes in, then everyone else comes in. It's like you just give up.
Yeah, the thing I paid attention to, I mean, I was farming the weapons like when the patch hit, and we were doing some Beastmaster, and I was like, oh yeah, this is a piece of cake. Don't worry, like. But when he does the like fucking 12 hit combo in front of him, where he just walks a little bit towards you. Normally you could just like dash backwards and you like iframe it and get out of it. No, now
Yeah.
he's just keep on, like he's going for your ass, like you're not getting away.
Exactly.
So
So
I got down to that like 3 times in a row, like just from muscle memory, just dashing backwards and just keep hitting. Nah, he'll destroy you.
he keeps you there. Yeah, he just
Yeah,
keeps you there. And the ads are not helpful. They add on to it.
yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah,
I
it was
kind of
awful.
like Beastmaster being more of a challenge, finally taking his revenge on us. But I
Yeah.
didn't find him that hard. Not like I'm still not sure if it's just because New Senja is kind of broken and can just like face tank him. Like every time he was doing his big, big like multi attack combo, was just charging my taunt in front of him and just not moving. Like sure, bring it. I'm just gonna heal off of it. So I like the challenge. I didn't try Reaver King before he got like a bit fixed, and now he's just a joke, which is a bit
He's
sad.
a
I think.
joke, yeah.
Yeah, I kind of like when he was hard, like even before the patch. Not, and I miss like him being even harder. But I think at least they were going the right way with making bosses harder. Maybe tone it down like slightly, but like having most of the bosses in the game being just a cakewalk feels kind of wrong. I don't know. Like they should be the challenge in the game, and we just kill them in 20 seconds.
I got a theory for that. Do you think that, like, with the way Reaver King and that is now, do you feel like they're toning them down so when Mythic comes, they actually feel hard?
Probably.
No, I think they just listen to the players they shouldn't be listening to.
I mean, Reaver King wasn't that hard before the patch, though. That's the problem.
Yeah,
You
he
just
was
needed to
easy.
be, yeah.
And then they made him hard, which was good. Then they made him even easier than before. So they are listening, in my opinion, to the wrong people who just want to complain and want to be super strong when you're not supposed to be like a invincible.
Yeah, it's kind of gutting to hear that he's gone that way though. But I don't know. Part of me feels like it is due to Mythic. It's probably not though, like you said. But I hope when raids come out, and if they are made too hard, I really hope they don't nerf them, or Mythic hunts for that matter. I feel like
They
they've got
should
to
be
be
hard.
hard. Yeah.
Yeah, that
Like
should be
So
hard.
so
if
so
Or
the
for
fuck,
now, sorry, go on.
or at
I
least
would
they give
say,
us a difficulty slider.
yeah, I would say I would enjoy if the if the first raid we'll get isn't just a cakewalk. Like something we should do like more than one time before we actually complete it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of remember a message, I think it was from Snarf like a long time ago, talking about mythic stuff and raiding, saying like we would almost beg him to make the stuff easier. And I kind of
Oh, I
hope like
hope.
they hold on to that. Like I want to suffer for that kind
Yeah.
of content. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a reply to me.
oh,
Believe it
was
or
it?
not. Yeah, because so we were trying to get like this is back when we were trying to move as many Guild Wars 2 players into Wayfinder as possible. And the one thing that came up in this game is like how hard is the actual end game gonna be? Because you've not really shown anything off like that's challenging. And then we got that reply of it was something along the lines of I'll have to find it, but it was along the lines of don't look at playing Wayfinder right now because they're building the foundations or something. But when raids come out, they're gonna be super challenging and biblical or something, and you're gonna be begging us to make it easier. Along those lines, not the exact quote. I'll try and find it, but that's what got a lot of people over in this game from Guild Wars 2 at least from our clan. But yeah, gonna be fun at least. But I feel like if they do nerf the raids and the mythics, then I'm gonna have an issue with it. Right now, I don't really mind because I know the harder stuff's coming out, and so they can make the stuff as easy as they want and bygones be bygones. But I will take a bit more issue if it comes to rares and mythics, and then they reduce them because people are still complaining. I think that's where I'll have to take more of a stance on it. But yeah, Reaver King, it's sad, but it's not like the end of the world for me either.
I mean, they are meant to be story bosses, so I guess, you know, acceptable if they're pretty easy. But
My only complaint with it though is if you are not ramping up your bosses as the story progresses, then people don't get better. They just expect the same old, same old. So, like throughout these encounters, you need to be trying to teach players mechanics at some point. And I feel like Reaver King was one of the first few bosses where you kind of had to. It wasn't just like a go in and kill it kind of thing. It did end up being kind of that way for speedrunners, but for a lot of players that were averagely clearing that in 7 minutes, killing them both at the same time was actually challenging for them. And I feel like that was a great kind of introduction to that, and I would really wish they would expand on that going forward, where they introduce more little things like that. So as the players are playing along, the skill or whatever you call it goes up with the players, if that makes sense. So when this harder stuff does come out, there's not that big gap. People are kind of accustomed to it. If that makes sense. Like you
Yeah.
are slowly training your players to be better than just going, here's a thing, you're gonna hit this like a dummy and it's gonna die. And they've learned nothing.
I kind of feel like it was like that on my first playthrough because I feel like the first like Bloodspawn and Broodmother was pretty easy, and then when you got to Commander Creed, I mean that was my first roadblock. But then yeah, it was like fine for Arch in Hand, and then the first was like harder than Commander Creed. Like that was really hard actually. And then you go to the Frost map, under leveled, and you want to try to do the bosses. I did them under level, but I had to try many more times that I had to try the first, and then even more times for the boss after that boss, you know. But yeah, I mean, when you get accustomed to the bosses, like you've done them so many times, I think it's just easy. But for the first playthrough, I actually think it gets harder every single time.
I mean, my biggest learning from, doing the first, since she was my first roadblock also, it was pretty much just, if you're struggling with something in this game, pick a gun. Like, literally.
My only question actually to that is, can you still be under leveled in this day and age with Wayfinder with
Nope.
like catches and the amount of XP boost that went out? It feels
Impossible.
I don't know. I feel like a lot of players coming into it now might have quite a different experience to us, like from day one.
Okay, that's actually true because I was doing like twins with 800 power under. That it was hard because I was using the Nis with the starter daggers, but I mean I got through it at some point.
Pretty
I
sure,
deliberately played like that.
Pretty sure the first time I got into the Frost Zone, like my Wayfinder was level like 20. Now, like with all the EXP buff, I'm sure like people get into the Frost Zone and they're already level 30, like for a while now.
Yeah.
Okay, so another thing I want to take us into, and this might not appeal to 2-tap too much, but it's actually housing. So the actual housing update, so we're able to place more items in the housing and that now. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? And like, we know there's new decorations coming with the Christmas event as well. Like, what are your thoughts? Like, what are your kind of wishes on that front? And we also did get a new pet, right? A new free pet, by the way, which is the turtle pet. And that is just a very small mission that you have to go and do. And if you don't know what that is, you can check that out on our channel. But like, what are your guys' thoughts on that? Like, with how they changed up that kind of area of the game with this patch?
I mean, honestly, I don't really touch housing. Like, I don't even remember when's the last time I went into my house, even to collect stuff. Like, I just don't really think about that kind of stuff. But I know a lot of people like really enjoy housing. I see a lot of people talking about it, like pretty much on the daily on the Wayfinder Discord. So I'm sure, like,
I mean,
pretty much everyone would be happy with that.
I got to place my 2 artifacts in my home. So I mean, I'm not totally lost on housing. I like the artifacts.
Did you get your free
Yeah.
Trickster coin now?
What?
Did you go and get your free Trickster coin daily?
That shit is not giving trickster coins anymore.
Wait,
No,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not.
a random reward.
Oh boy.
I mean, it does give trickster coins, but I feel like it was much more regular before. Now it's like I think it was every 7th. So there was a bug on release of this patch where I actually figured it out like 30 minutes or like 1 hour into patch that your housing items, its cooldown got like renewed whenever you left and joined your apartment again. So I was like farming my trickster artifact just like 20 or 30 times, and I got 3 trickster coins from that, and I was like, fuck this. I sent a message to Snarf and I was like, yeah, this is like not even worth it to do, so I mean, it's just fucking patch it up, I mean. And the next day, like yesterday, they patched it, so. But I mean, if people really wanted to like do that for like an excessive amount of time, I don't think they would even. I think you could go farm trickster coins faster than getting trickster coins that way.
Yeah, I feel like now. I think we walked out of one of the zones today with something like 5 Trickster coins.
Yeah, so Baldoom on Sphere 4 gives you 5. I did a run prior to this podcast where I got 9 trickster coins. I think that's a bug
Whoa.
though, but I got 9 from 1 trickster in Baldoom on Sphere 4.
Very
I wouldn't
nice.
mind using that bug.
And and the third from Aqua called Extron, he was I think he got like no, it was Skisset. Skisset got 11 bones from one single run.
Damn.
And he
Ooh,
got 16
Wow.
Halcyon ops from one run. I mean, these event
ooh.
materials are pretty much a joke
What?
now.
It's just the
But
specters that are a problem.
Yeah, the
going
specters
back
are
to
the real problem.
the question though.
Oh, sorry.
Just for you on podcast, okay?
Uh-huh.
Will you be decorating your house with Christmas decorations?
Okay, I'll say this: if there is a Christmas tree in the NPC store, I will put it in my house. But I mean, I
There
bought
is
the
one.
3 little. I bought the. Yeah, I'm not gonna buy it for Rune Silver, but from the NPC.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
but I bought the 3 little plants from the Helper store. But I mean, I'm not gonna put them in my house. I don't care.
I
You know, I
I
just got
don't.
this image of like Two Tap being all like hardcore and serious, and then he's just like in his little house there.
There's only artifacts in my house at the moment. And my 7 orbital lights or whatever they're called. I got 7 of those. Just
Yeah.
occupying my ceiling.
How about you, Sin and Bing, and even Frosty? Like, how are you feeling? Like, housing? Will you be like decorating your housing or and stuff? Will you go and get the new turtle pet, for example?
I mean, I
I
might get the turtle at the very end, like I'm done grinding with stuff. But honestly, I feel my health's already perfect. I got like 14 slime cubes and they're just chilling, so don't need any more than that, really.
I already have the turtle pet. I got that immediately. I probably will decorate my house, but I don't care about housing too much because it's you can't do much with it at the moment. I'm waiting.
Justin, how
Yeah,
I'm
about
there's
going
no
you?
to
really
go get it.
there isn't really a way to show it off unless you like post screenshots, and that's like kind of lame. If you can like, I don't even know how they would do that, but like, yeah, I don't
Did
know
you
how you would.
did you not enjoy Retribution's housing content?
I knew you
That
guys did
one?
one, but I didn't watch any of
That
the
was a
actual.
bit ago, actually.
Yeah, there was just I remember seeing one guy's house where he just had like a table and chair in the center of the room and nothing else.
Pretty sure that's Snarf. I think Snarf's room is just a chair, like in the middle, and that's it.
Like what would you say though, guys? Right? Like, uh, what would get you more interested in this? Like for general feedback, like I know it's not everyone's cup of tea, so some people are just not gonna like this in general. But if there was any way to get you more interested in this, and for me, I felt like it was that event thing that you could get buffs from that would make me travel into the house and get the buffs at least. But like, is there anything like that or any other things that would get you more interested?
Honestly, I think housing the way it is right now is plenty fine. Like if you don't want to interact with it, you don't really have to. You just drop your artifacts in. You're happy with that. And if you want to, then you can just decorate to your art content. So honestly, I think they got it pretty much nailed down. Like you're not forced into it. So I don't think I don't need anything like pushing me into doing it because I just don't want to do it really. So I'm happy with how it is right now.
Feels bad. Bing's not entering the next fashion cup.
And I'm all about that fashion, like Wayfinder fashion, but housing fashion, meh.
How do I join this?
But we actually are due to host one.
It's
We were aiming
months.
for it to be monthly, but then we didn't realize just how slow they would be at getting like more dyes and like more outfits out there. So it kind of we done the Wayfinder one originally, and then we was like, well, stuff's not really come out, so we'll have to do a housing one to bypass time. And then not much come out for the housing. So it was kind of like, oh, we just left it until more stuff came out, and there was new die sets, new weapons, and that. So we could actually get another one going very soon. That everyone, I mean, I think the last one that was open to everyone as well, right? That was in the Discord.
Yeah, it was open to
I-
everyone. And funny thing with that is like we have a role tied to the winners of these events. That's supposed to be a monthly role since the contest was supposed to be monthly. And now these guys have had that role for like almost 3 months.
Yeah, I mean, they got their worth out of those roles, though, right? Like they're still around and they still get to show it off. And I mean, if you care for the Discord roles, that is. I feel like the one that we done at the start of the game was probably the best one on the Discord currently, where I think it was like under veteran or something like that, and it was for the first people that I was it they got to 30 or got every tune of 30. I can't remember, something like that. It was,
Yeah, we had something like every person that gets their Wayfinder to 30 in the first week of the game get like a role.
yeah,
And
because
a lot of people did it, surprisingly.
yeah, back then that's when the game was a bit of a grind, and then everyone discovered the 2 ways to level up super fast, which was
Books.
the pages and stuff, and the mine event. And then I got round to doing it, and they nerfed it, so it feels bad.
That's sad.
Story of my day in Wayfinder. Everything I touch gets nerfed. Bing's told me to stay away from Venomous.
Please do.
Not
Please.
venomous, but Senja. Like now that she's good, please don't touch Senja.
I do feel like Senja's
Oh no.
with buffs comes claps, right? I feel
Yeah.
I better stop playing Senja.
No.
Go play Ven instead. She needs a nerf.
To be fair, I partly agree with that actually. For a support DPS to be out DPS and pure DPS is mind-boggling to me on balance. Like and keeping in mind, right, that's not us setting these subclasses either, right? That is what they advertise them as, under those subclasses. So in a truly balanced game right now, you would have Kyros and this on top, and then like Venomous wouldn't even be top 3. It should still be a fantastic DPS. Don't get me wrong, but there's a support side, and I feel like right now she's not really being used too much for the support role. It's more of a self-sustained DPS kind of role. So yeah, I could. Maybe it's time to play Venomous and see how the devs take that one.
He's gonna nerf Venomous.
I mean, to be fair, Atlantis has been doing fantastic on Venomous. So if anyone, like, go look at Atlantis play Venomous, I'm sure the devs can find something there to know. That guy will probably always play Venomous better than me. Yeah. I'm not one of those people that really got into him. Like, I do play with him. I play like a load of them, but would I want to set a speed run or take it into a tournament? No. I feel like you got to stick with what you know in those situations. If that makes sense,
Yeah.
like to get the best out of it. And
Yeah, that was our priority for Frosty's event as well. We wanted to play comfort, but we didn't want to go for like the mathematically best comp. So we just played. I mean, Hane was a Kyros main, so we just played Kyros, even though it didn't even make sense to play Kyros in that comp.
All right. Well, it's our last podcast of the year. I want to thank everybody for coming out. It was a great conversation. We had fun. And everybody say goodbye to everybody.
Bye.
catch you later.
Bye.
White people